Hello again. It is a matter of common observation that some people have too much time on their hands. Such a one is Emily Crossing from Oxford. Most of us go to the seaside to relax and forget about the world's problems. Ice cream, candy floss, sunbathing, perhaps playing machines in an arcade. That's certainly why I go to the seaside. Imagine, though, being the kind of person who visits the seaside and then gets worked up into a frenzy because there is a coin in the slot shooting machine. You know, the sort of game that you get in amusement arcades. One which entails firing a pretend six-shooter at Indians. Miss Crossing visited the Pier in Weston-super-Mare with her mother and saw this game, which may be seen in the thumbnail to the video. She said that Mum and I both just had our mouths open when we first saw it. We were in absolute shock. The figures of indigenous Americans were in full-on headdresses and there were little cowboys everywhere. I can't believe the managers have no idea about cultural appropriation. This is 2022. That game is racist whether you choose to play it or not. It is outdated and extremely shocking. Well, I mean, maybe Emily Crossing doesn't get out enough. I don't know anything at all about her life, but if she really finds a game like that in an amusement arcade at the end of the Pier extremely shocking, perhaps she's led something of a sheltered life. Obviously, I don't want to say anything spiteful or unpleasant, but one cannot help but feel that here is a grown woman who needs to get out more, preferably without her mum. I mean, why go to an amusement arcade in the first place at the end of the Pier, unless you want to see some stupid and tacky games? Miss Crossing wrote an email to the managers of the Pier, which they very rightly ignored. Then she put stuff up on Instagram and made more of a fuss, contacting the Pier again, following which the game was removed. Shame on the managers of Weston-super-Mare's Grand Pier for giving in to this nonsense. They really ought to be ashamed of themselves. This is all of a piece with the decision in Blackpool at the other end of England recently. The Blackpool illuminations feature, among other things, a celebration of different cultures, showing people around the world in their traditional costumes. The Red Indians, or Native Americans, or whatever they are called these days, have now been removed following a complaint of racism. Is it really not possible for people to avoid things which cause them offence, or which they find shocking? I am not overly fond of explicit pornography, whether featuring women or men. When I see magazines of that kind on the top shelf in the newsagent, guess what? I simply don't look at them. I don't feel the urge to rush home and write a letter of complaint, though. I think they're a bit tacky, but if others want to buy them, that's fine. The other week I was in the London bookshop and noticed that they stocked Mein Kampf. Now, as viewers may perhaps guess, I'm not a great fan of Hitler's, but I wouldn't start ringing the newspapers and trying to get Mein Kampf removed from view because I happen to find it offensive. The business about pictures or images of Red Indians is part of an awful trend, which is that of busybodying. One of the great things about this country used to be that people minded their own business by and large and let others get on with their lives. This was once regarded as a virtue, tolerating those things which we ourselves don't care for, but which other folk might like. There have always been busybodies and prudes, of course, people peering out from behind net curtains and hoping to mind other people's business for them, but most of us used to feel contempt for those types. Now they are celebrated as social justice warriors. It seems these days as though simply getting on with your own life and ignoring things which others enjoy but which are not to your taste is no longer the default setting for many folks. Being a busybody has become a virtuous way of life.